What's up, collectors? P-Rockzilla back again with another review, and this is gonna be a special one for me, at least. If you guys know me, I'm a huge Berserk fan, and this is basically part of my grail, at least my personal means to me. And they do have value, but they more have a meaning to me, an attachment to me. Figures. So this is gonna be the Threezero Berserk Guts Berserker armor. This is the original version, not the limited edition with the blood all over it. So this is the normal edition that came out, sold out quickly also. And I was originally picked up 2 copies because I kind of had a feeling I wanted to customize one, but thankfully the limited edition that came out had the piece that I really want, which was that head sculpt. And it should fit on this perfectly because they are the same type body. It's basically the same figure, just repaint and more accessories and pieces we should have gotten originally. But anyways, I'm super excited to get this guy open because now I can actually have all 3 versions of Guts in the Berserker armor in my display and freaking happy about it. They're gonna look sick with the Skull Knight. I can't wait to do it. I can't wait to get this review started. Let's do it. Dale. So let's go ahead and take a look at this beautiful box. At least beautiful to me because I love the art style for the Berserk books and everything. So in the front here you have nice the foil, the little shadow of Guts right there in the Berserker armor. You have Berserk 1/6 scale collectible figure, Guts Berserker armor, Threezero logo. On the bottom here you have the same thing, Berserk. Same information right there. Same thing with the logo Berserk there. Same thing on the top portion. And on the side, the only difference is here you got the hologram, the official seal and logo of Threezero, and then in the back you got a nice little art style type of the character figures, like crouching down with the sword on his shoulder, Berserk, all the legal information right there. Alright, it does have a good feel to the box, like the little texture of it. But anyways, let's get this guy out the box. So when you remove that front cover, you greet it with this, which is the clamshell, and then you got the instructions and your warranty on in there. Then if you take this front cover off, let's pull this out. Then you greet it with the figure right there. You have the Guts figure. Here goes the headpiece. The Dragon Slayer sword. Love this damn sword. All the hand pieces right here. Sawbone hands. The special cannon one. The figure himself. The lower portion of the face. And then part of the armor. And then below this, you actually have the cape. So you got to make sure to remove the cape. And the cape is bendy wired. Alright. Let's go ahead and take him and all the accessories out. So you'll take a close look at everything he comes with in fine detail. So there you have Guts laid out, all the accessories that come in his package. And of course, like always, let's take a look at the figure first. Now, I got this figure the original time of purchase was before I started doing reviews and stuff. So I've never seen the armor like in up close, like good like bright light like this. And I never noticed there's like different tints here. I don't know if it shows on camera here, but you can see there's kind of like a purplish tint here, and it goes to like the black. So it goes all throughout like the scales of the armor. This is the Guts underneath the Berserker armor. And up here, as you can notice, one of my ears is, I guess in the package, the way it was put in there, has a little bend there, but that's easy to fix. All you gotta do is get some hot water, boil like some hot water, and then dip this portion in there for about 10 seconds. And as you pull it out, just hold it in place, and it'll basically warp back to the shape that you want it to have when you got it nice and warm. So as you can see here, the detail on Guts' face. You can see, if you can try to see there, he has, let me see if I can put the brightness a little bit brighter so you can see some of the details in the face. There we go. You can probably see he has an eyeball right there. There we go. See the eyeball? And then over here, there is no eye. So his eye got basically scratched out. Well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It's a cool character, but this definitely looks like him, like the way he looks in the books and in the anime and the movie. So as you can see, it's just basically scales through the whole portion. These parts move right here. And this is the whole thing with the armor. Don't want to spoil too much. Basically, the armor is kind of like, you know, uses his blood and power. Whatever he sacrificed, it heals, but at a price. And these things, let me just readjust this a little bit. There we go. All right. You can see throughout the whole armor. You see right there. You can see kind of that purplish hue shining through there, and at the points of the sharpness of the scales, and the knee pads, and the feet. All right. So this figure, like my first one, has good articulation. So let's go ahead and show you real quick. So the head can move a decent amount forward, up, backwards. I mean, it can go down, very good. You can move sideways. And you get 2 points of articulation. One at the neck right here, at the neck, and one underneath the throat, as you can see there. So you're good articulation sideways. The arms can move forward. As you can see, they're kind of separate pieces. This is one thing Threezero does pretty good, where they do like some kind of hide joint and pieces like that. Very good with articulation. But you can go pretty far up, and then pretty far back. Let's see. Almost all the way around. Almost 360. I don't want to take a risk, but does a 360. And then, when we put the arms back forward, he can do a Y pose, T pose. He does get double jointed elbows. You get that good articulation right there. Oops, sorry, hit the camera by accident. And then go back here. You do get pivot at the bicep. Good pivot there. Let's bring this back down. So as you can see, the arms have exit. Oop, piece fell off. And that just goes right back on there. As you can see, there's a little peg right there. And it just goes right there. So I'll just peg that in later on. So we'll go through articulation. I'll peg that back on later on. Alright, so at the waist, he can go pretty far back with the abs. I keep hitting the camera, I'm sorry. Go forward. Very good. You can see basically going crouching forward down all the way. Very far. Alright, and then you do get you get twist at the hips and the lower chest. It does go pretty far, like I said, but I don't want to take the chance right now. I got things falling, that piece falling off. I don't want to put something else back on. Alright. And the legs, he can do, watch out for those straps. Basically, do a split. As you can see with this one, you just got to move that around. He can basically almost do a split. So that part slides right in. Alright, and then the legs can go pretty far up. He can do the Hogan boot. Let's see. Yep, so he can do the Hogan boot. It's a big figure. Guts, come on, fit in the camera. So he can definitely do the Hogan boot. The knees do get double bend too. Good articulation at the knees. You can pull the leg out to get more articulation. And as you can see, he can go further out. And you can see just basically pull those joints down. And this will basically give you the even higher boot. Let's put those legs back in. Alright, so I showed the knees. Do you get pivot? You do get pivot at the thigh. Let me show you the double jointed knees. You do get toe bend. Or not toe bend, but the foot can go that far up. And that far down, not too far down. You do get toe bend, and toe bend is about that high. You do get twist and pivot. So Guts can have some awesome poses, and he articulates with no problem. Like I said, that piece is easy to put on. I put it on later on. It's the first time I had one fall off on me, but it's all right. Quick fix. All right, so there goes Guts. Let's go ahead and move to the heads. This is the helmet where he basically goes full berserk. This is the like it's like a demon that's I didn't finish reading it yet. But basically, when he takes over, there's a demon inside him that has his the same like a wolf-like body. This is the head of it, and this is when he goes full berserk, where the armor takes over, the demon takes over. As you can see, it does have articulation in the mouth. And you basically just you can put this mouthpiece right here. into there, which is the one that I would use for this, because when he's in this basically mode right here, he's not really that calm. He's angry. So this is basically the best mouthpiece to have for this helmet. It does have light up function, so if you unplug here, take those screws off right here, and you can see there's a switch right there. It does light up. The light up is pretty good. Good brightness. It's, it's a lot darker here, but it's not too much slots for the light to come out from, but it is visible. The lights are pretty good. Let me see if I have some extra batteries. I'll probably do it one of the final poses. So yep, so you basically just pegs it right there. Here's the peg, plug it into the neck, to the body of there. Like I said, it opens up. That looks good. I already saw this. This is the other mouthpiece you could have for him. As you can see, kind of has like a little venom thing going through here. And then this is the other armor piece right here. So this is the piece you would normally have when Guts doesn't have this helmet on. Where he could, I think he does still have. I can't remember. I'm trying to look at it again, but I know this is when he's turned to the full. When he's not full, this is more pronounced, and it has like the skull only, not the ear piece. That's the piece you get attached for there. And then you get the hands. You get the two sword wielding hands, or dragon slayer wielding hands. Then you get the two kind of open gripping type hands. It's good for like when you're having them in a crouch position. And then this is another one where you want to have them. Let's say if you want to have them one hand on the ground flat. This is what this hand's for. Because when he goes to Berserk mode, he does tend to have like a more of like a feline, canine type pose. And then he does, his normal hand has like a, he basically, I guess I'm not spoiling nothing, but he has a hand on the hand, fake hand under there, and it opens up to the cannon. So what's cool is his original hand, mechanical hands under there, and then the armor piece actually comes out too. So that's real cool. So it basically opens up like that way. I'm sorry, I got it upside down. Still get used to this camera once in a while. So basically the hands coming down, then the armor piece is going up. So when they first showed this, I was like, oh, that looks cool. I thought they were going to kind of neglect this when the armor takes over, but I'm happy they did. Then, of course, you get the freaking beautiful Dragon Slayer. Look at the detail on that. Look at the paint. Look at the rivets on here. The shininess, the right angle. Hallelujah. This is the freaking my favorite sword in any anime, manga, cartoon, movie, anything. So basically you can see the size of the sword. He's basically, the sword is bigger than the character. Look at that. I love that sword. So as you know, he's one of the only humans, I think he's something else, but I guess I didn't finish reading yet, but that can actually wield a sword at this size and this weight as if it's nothing. Very cool. And then, of course, can't be Guts without the cape. You got his cape here. That's all weathered and tethered. Well, not really weathered, more tethered. And it does have bendy wire from this portion right here, from the collar, around the collar, and then from the opening portion from the around the collar all the way down to here is bendy wire, and then the rest is just basically a good heavy quality fabric. All right, so there we go. We have a good look at Guts with the Berserker armor on, all the accessories that it comes with. I'm gonna put the shoulder pad on, and then we'll go ahead and get some size comparison started. Okay, so I do want to correct myself on one thing. So this piece right here is really, I think the only time he does have this is when he has this like helmet, mask, basically this form on. That's when he has this on. Normally when he has this helmet on right here, he does have this when you swap that out with this one. And when you have him without the helmet, he has this jawline type thing right here. I was corrected. The other one, there's one that's is just like this, but it's actually like a finer V. And that's one where he actually has the helmet that's basically the Skull Knight, almost like the skull type helmet. It's confusing, but if you watch it, you know what I'm talking about. And if I do the review or when I open my limited one, that one actually has all the pieces that this one should have came with. So now I can finally complete. This is the reason why I opened this one, so I can finally complete. Like I said before, and have all three versions. Like I have technically the version where he's fully this form without the helmet, and I want to have the one with the skull helmet that has the more refined V. All right, back to the review. There we got Guts standing there in a default pose, ready for a size comparison. But before I bring in the figures for the size comparison, I want to point out I was able to reshape that ear. As you can see, it's now straight and matches the other one more perfectly. So the hot water trick did work. Just boil some hot water. I dipped in it. This is actually softer plastic, so I only dipped it in there for 5 seconds. And then basically, once it came out, you just basically hold on to it. And as it dries, you can kind of meld it and mold it to the shape you want it. So there we go. Good trick. So now let's go ahead and bring in another Threezero figure. And this is going to be the Threezero Rambo. Yeah, what's going on here? There goes Rambo. Now, I want to bring in another dark character. And this is going to be the Hot Toys Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy. So there we got Batman, Guts, and Rambo all standing there. So if you have any of these figures, you can see, if you decide to pick Guts up, or if you can find him, how he would look in your collection. But last but not least, let's bring in one more figure for a size comparison. This is going to be my Bandai Godzilla statue. And I finally found some sunglasses for him. So pretty soon, I just got to get a hat. And I have my own custom P-Rockzilla figure right there. Alright, just want to throw that in there for the size comparison. Let's go ahead and get the final poses and the final thoughts. So I wanted to get a pose with him with no cape on, so you can actually see all the joints in a pose like this. And he is balancing by himself. There's no base on here. There's no stand. This is all the weight on the ankles and toes. So as you can see, he can hold a dynamic pose without a base or stand with no problem. And you don't see many or barely any of the joints. That's one thing I love that Threezero did with this figure. Is you get these crazy poses and the joints are freaking hidden perfectly. You may see some like on the inside of the bicep, that's about it. But anything on the elbow joints and the knee joints, you barely see them. They kind of do this with their Transformer figures too, which I do enjoy and I appreciate. And I did want to have one pose with the arm cannon basically showing, so you could kind of see how it would look when he actually does use it in this armor. And with the cape, the next poses, I will have the cape on. So, you know, Gus always normally has the cape on. But like I said, I wanted to make sure I did one with no cape so you can see all the joints. Nothing hidden, no special effects going on here. This is all held up by the figure himself. So I wanted to get Gus holding the sword with both hands and to show that he can wield the sword in a dynamic pose and stand fine with no base and no stand. This figure so far has not found maybe just like a jumping high kick, or like a high kick type thing, but he doesn't really do that. So that's the only pose I didn't really try. But so far, most of the poses I did try, he was able to hold the poses with no problem. I did have one issue with just basically getting one of the pegs, when the hand's in the peg, that left hand in the peg. I'm not sure if the hole was a little too small. But he's got to be careful if you do get some resistance on inserting the hands. You don't want to basically hold on to one of the armor pieces that are kind of loose and put pressure on that to possibly make a piece break off. If a piece does break off, one did with my first release. Not really break off. You can see where it was glued at, but basically it just came off. And you just simply glue it back on there. No problem at all. It still moves because the part that pivots didn't break. It was just the part that holds the piece together to the shoulder. So that was an easy fix if you do come across a problem like that. I hope you don't. You shouldn't. Just be super careful with the figure. I tried to get him on the one pose, but anybody who knows Guts knows that damn Dragon Slayer is too big to get in one, like, full frame. I'll have to basically record it in portrait mode instead of landscape. So that normally doesn't look good. So I didn't want to go that route. So as you can see, he basically holds the pose very good, holds the sword very good. You do get good wiring on that cape. I kind of got like a little wind blowing to the left side effect going there with no problem. The wire does kind of twist around sometimes, so you kind of have to retrace the wire in there to kind of fix it. But other than that, no big issues with this guy. I love my damn Guts, man, especially with the Berserker armor. I can't wait to open the limited edition one. And here we have Guts losing control to the armor and the demon, and basically trying to prevent the Berserker armor from taking full control of him. As you can see, he's crouched over. He had to let go of the sword, use that same hand he was holding the sword to kind of hold his head, where he's trying to put the positive thoughts in his mind, trying to prevent that armor from taking over his body and causing further damage to his body. And it came out good. I had no issues getting this pose in there. He held, as you can see, he's holding himself up with that special hand on the left arm that kind of is made for basically having all 4 fingers or 5 fingers flat on the ground. So that came out in hand perfectly. That came out good. The palm in hand towards the head comes out good too. So this is the reason why I also said when this figure came out, it was missing some of the accessory pieces that we would need that came with the limited edition, because I would have loved to have him posed with the helmet off and basically just his head, but that comes with limited edition, not this one. I would love to have him with the skull armor, comes with limited edition, not this one. So this one kind of was like a good, this figure right here was kind of a good like thing to come out, but as a fan, I was a little disappointed with the accessories it did come with, and I did feel it was an incomplete figure. But now that I do have the limited edition one in hand, I'm super happy to have all of them to kind of use them all to mix and match the complete figures for me. But these guys' whole pose is awesome. And the good thing about the poses is you never have to worry about leaving them in these poses for long and causing damage to any of the suit, because this is all plastic. And this is what I love about this figure. And this is the reason I will continue to support Threezeros, because they're doing figures from lines that I actually love, and they're doing awesome jobs with them. I can get these 6-scale figures in poses that he does in the books and the cartoons, and not have to worry about it in the long run. So now we have Guts with the full Berserker armor taking over him, and it has full control of his body. And as you can see, with the cape on there, he holds the freaking pose yet again, and the sword is perfectly balanced on his shoulder. You don't feel much weight or kind of resistance on that peg of the wrist with the hand holding the sword. Normally, if you have an upright position, that's when the weight comes in effect. But since you have it lean on the shoulder, there is no stress on there, so you don't have to worry about the joint on the hand. And this guy, like I said, he looks awesome like this. I try to get like poses more. Like there was another pose. If I had a rock platform or a rock base type thing, there was one pose I really wanted to get him on, where he's kind of like basically have the swords upside down. And he's kind of leaning over the rock in full Berserker mode. This is the closest thing I could get to it without that base, and it looks awesome. More likely, this is going to be my final pose. I'm going to keep the limited edition one when I get the limited edition one open with the full blood on there and the guts, the bloody sword, because when he's in Berserker mode, he has to have all that blood everywhere, because some of it is his blood too. But this is just a cleaner version, so I kind of wanted to mess around with him to kind of get ideas of poses I'm going to have my limited edition one in. And just to see if this figure was the same as my original one that I did open. I want to make sure that all the articulation that I did before on the previous one held up, just so I can be confirmed that the articulation is not based on figure. All figures are the same. Like I said in the past, just be careful with the loose joints when you're trying to articulate him, especially in the elbows, the shoulders, and the triceps. Those are key areas right there. One thing I did notice too on this one, for some reason, one leg was more ratcheted than the other. When I moved one leg at the hip joint, it didn't have a ratchet sound, but the other one did. So that was kind of weird. I'm gonna grab my original one, see if he does the same thing. But other than that, no issues with the guy at all. I'm freaking happy the way Threezero made him. I'm happy they made him. I hope they make more characters. I want to fucking. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh, I'm getting excited. I want a Griffith, and I want a Casca. Those are the two I would love to have. I know Threezero can make the female bodies pretty good, so they would pull off a Casca very good. And last but not least, I definitely would love a Femto to kind of have a battle scene with the Berserker armor guts right here. I already have the Skull Knight, and he is going to be awesome on my display once I get them all out and displayed on the way I want them. But anyways, collectors, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please hit the subscribe, like button, click that bell notification. And as always, collectors, keep collecting, stay safe, be good, dale.